are broadcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, snap. Okay, so we're back to episode two.
The Shadow.
Shadow of episode two. That's not even funny. So, Steve, this was your pick.
Yeah. Like I said in the beginning, I completely remember seeing this as a kid, loving it, um, and watching it now. Like the cast in this movie is stacked.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, how can you go wrong with Jonathan Winters? I was a little scared when I saw that. I saw Peter Boyle and Jonathan Winters on the same page, and I was like, uh-oh.
Is that who it was? I thought it was Aunt Blabby from Johnny Carson, dressed as a man, but I wasn't sure.
Hey, blah, blah. Or, I mean, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Jonathan Winters. And
But
what? What? It's got James Hong in it too.
James Hong, it has Magneto.
Yes, has Magneto playing like in an other sister kind of role. He does not. Sir Ian McKellen doesn't really get to do much in this movie.
Barely in it.
Tim Curry. What a
Tim
shock!
Curry?
What a shock that he's a cowardly bad guy. I was taken aback. I saw him and had no idea where this was going. James Hong, though, dies in 2 seconds flat.
He has a very Drew Barrymore-esque role.
Yes, and there was someone in the credits at the beginning whose first name was Jellybean.
What? I don't think I noticed that.
Yeah, I may have to do some IMDbing while you vamp because I need to see.
Really, the biggest thing I noticed from the credits was the amazing theme song, which was Taylor Dane singing "Original Sin."
I did not know that it was Taylor Dane.
Yeah, and it was great. And then I spent most of the afternoon Googling pictures of Taylor Dane.
Okay, so this was a big this was a Jack Fest.
A Jack Fest?
Jack Fest for you. Although there was no one named Jack Fest was in the credits. I don't want to confuse any of the listener. All I can find is someone named Jellybean Howie. And I'm assuming she is not the Jellybean Howie of The Shadow because she just started making movies in 2007. So we'll never know. But there is someone named Jellybean in there.
That's very confusing.
Yes.
And I don't know how I didn't notice that.
Did you ever see the movie Welcome Home, Jellybean?
I have not.
Well, it's another classic. It's a book as well. It's about
Get that shit out of here. Books?
it's a very short book. It's for children, and it's about a retarded woman named Geraldine, but she goes by Jellybean.
I'm in.
I'm pretty sure it was Canadian. It was shown a lot on Nickelodeon back in the day.
Wow.
And in the commercial, they showed Jellybean kind of freaking out at one point and mashing Oreos into a carpet. Later on, I read the book, and there's a lot of her banging. She always has a huge knot on her head because she likes to bang it into a wall. So
it sounds like a really uplifting book and show.
She gets welcomed home.
Well, fair enough.
Yes. So back to the movie. James Hong wanders into a opium king's den and is complaining about how you want to take all my opium. I need a little piece of opium here. You guys got lots of opium.
Yeah, he was doing his best Lloyd Kaufman impression.
Oh, have you seen Big Gus? What's the fuss? No, he does not do that. And the future Shadow, what's his name? Like Inca Dinka Doo?
Oh, who?
He has like an Inkadu name.
Who?
The Shadow when he's
Shadow?
being an opium dude.
Oh, all I know. Oh, Yinko.
Yinko, yeah, Yinkadinkadu.
Yo-yo.
And he's got awesome I don't know, chartreuse nails.
Oh my God, you and I both wrote down nails because
Yeah.
those nails were
I
hot.
actually wrote down those nails.
Yeah, like again, not having seen this movie since 1994 when it originally came out, I was expecting this to be not the Shadow, but the main villain, and was pleasantly surprised when that's no Asian, that's Alec Baldwin.
Yep. There's a lot of that's no Asian in this movie. There may be a little Asian in the in the actual villain of the piece, but he was pretty Caucasian for being Genghis Khan's relative.
Oh, for sure, he's no Mongolian.
There was some breeding, some inbreeding, not inbreeding, some
There's some inbreeding.
there's some mellowing of that Khan stock is what I'm trying to say.
But so at one point they kill what the hell's his name?
James
Now I
Hong?
can't- They kill James Hong.
Yes, in a speedy scene, like Speed the movie, not a fast scene. But they shoot right through the hostage.
Yep. And so then what do you do after you do that? You go to sleep.
Yeah, and you wake up and it's like a crappy sex scene from God of War, where you're a hairy Alec Baldwin barbarian with two sassy ladies on fur coats.
That was one main thing I noticed. Is he in shape?
He seemed like pretty big and buff.
Is that what in shape was in 1994? Because I feel like that's out of shape now.
I don't know. I mean, you're into old-timey wrestling. I mean, you can be a big, beefy, sweaty guy. You don't have to be all cut. You can be plenty strong.
I guess so.
Although there is more to cloud the minds of men. if you know a few extra pounds, you probably have to concentrate a bit harder to hide that.
Clouded mind with a chance of meatballs?
I think Alec Baldwin's shadow is actually 15 pounds in this movie.
Well, at least it is now.
Yes. And luckily we can critique Alec Baldwin's body.
I am in perfect shape.
Peak physical forms here.
So he's dragged to this temple.
To Cobra Commander's temple.
Yep.
It's got a big snake head on it.
Yep. And that was the other thing. Alec Baldwin has a clouded mind, we learn, because he didn't see this giant fucking temple.
Yes.
Standing behind a tent.
And it's big.
Oh, it's huge. So he gets dragged in there, and there's a yogi basically.
There's no Boo Boo.
There's no Boo Boo and no park rangers, but
Or
he.
picnic baskets.
Wait,
sorry,
there wasn't any picnic baskets.
No, there was a Frank Welker dagger.
Yeah. What a great use for Frank to just go.
That is really Frank Welker is in something like 800 movies on IMDb. It's 790 something, and 2/3 of them are. And it enrages me. The paychecks that man gets.
Yeah. Well, not large amounts, just a lot of them.
Yes, he gets. They all have how coupons have this is redeemable for 1/20th of a penny. Every Frank Welker screech, he gets one of those.
So the yoga guy is talking to the Shadow about how he can use some powers for good.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna make you a good guy."
Yep.
Too bad if you don't want to.
Yeah, and the Shadow wants nothing to do with it and tries to kill him with said Frank knife, that
Yes.
comes alive. And the one thing I really noticed is the like special effects weren't horrible in this
No.
movie. For like 1994, it was pretty good.
Well, then, I mean, I'm not gonna. We'll get to it in a second, but the next scene has some of the worst matte paintings I've ever seen in my life. This movie
Well,
it's in a weird spot for special effects. Like it's
yes.
before Jurassic Park, so they don't really try to. There's no really like. I don't think there's any 3D like modeling going on.
Yeah, definitely not.
There's some old style stuff. There's lots of little models used in the cityscapes
Yeah.
and some terrible matte paintings. And then every once in a while, I don't know if it's because the quality of the movie when I saw it, like it was not a high quality transfer that I saw.
Oh
But
no, the stream I watched was complete garbage.
yeah, so maybe it was hiding some of the crappier special effects, but I thought a lot of it was good. Like there was some frame by frame animation of of the shadow's shadow kind of going around.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so the dopey dagger flies around and almost kills the shadow, and then it kind of fades to black, right?
Which is completely ridiculous. We don't like. There's no montage. There's nothing else. Just
No.
some text scrolling across the screen saying that Lamont learns how to use his powers and is going back to his homeland of pure like villainy. And we open up to New York City, which is
Yes.
a proper shithole according to that text.
And they use 2 hyphens instead of an M dash, which annoys me. It's not 2 hyphens to split those things up, people. You should know. Yeah,
I'm
so
going to
then
use 2 hyphens at any time I talk to you.
yes. And then New York is apparently a completely empty bridge
Yeah.
with 3 comical gangsters and a
cement
poor,
shoes.
yes, an actual cement cube that this poor Asian man's feet are trapped inside of.
I thought it was George Takei.
You thought wrong.
I did.
And okay, so they're the gangsters for unknown reasons. I don't think they explain it all, but they're about to just get rid of this guy. He knows something that he shouldn't know.
Oh no, they explain it. He looked down. Wrong place, wrong time. Essentially, he was walking down an alley or looked down an alley where they were doing something.
Well, yeah. Well, I wouldn't say that they saw somebody doing something as reason to kill the guy.
Well, this was the olden days, Mark.
You're right.
Things.
Well, so then the gangster's about to push him over, and he takes out a match, lights a match on the poor Asian guy's face, and then immediately blows it out and throws it away. Like, he's just being a dick to this poor guy who looked at him.
To be fair, that's how we met. You struck a match on my face.
Well, thank you for censoring it and saying it was on your face.
And right after that, the shadow begins to laugh, and I realize then, what did I get myself into?
Yeah, because that laugh,
Yeah.
that goes on and on and on. I know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I did some research afterwards, and I know the shadow. There's like a creepy laugh in.
Yeah.
That's part of the shadow's thing.
It was a radio play,
Yeah,
basically. A radio play, and then like novels.
and they this was not the first brought to the screen version of the shadow, but oh my, this laughter goes on for like a solid 20 seconds.
Yeah, and then this is kind of a glimpse. There's some really nice camera work in this movie, and this was kind of the first glimpse of that, where the main gangster is like yelling into the night, and you can see the Asian dude. I wish I knew his name.
Maybe
The Asian.
I do have IMDb open. Maybe I should actually have the cast available to me. And now I'm looking up IMDb on IMDb, so I think I broke my computer. It's just going to spin forever. Okay, the shadow. Let's see. Who sounds like Asian guy? Not, let's see. Sab Shimono. Dr.
Sure.
Tam. Dr. Tam.
Dr. Tam.
Yeah.
So, and we see Dr. Tam and the other guys kind of in the background to the right, and it was just a really cool shot, I thought. Like, for this 1994 comic book type movie, like superhero movie,
And this,
which
this
I'm going to use that term super loosely about this movie.
yes. Well, this was apparently the Shadow was one of the major inspirations for Batman.
Yeah.
And
totally.
this movie came out after Batman, right?
Yeah, I think Michael Keaton Batman was like 88, wasn't it?
Yes, that
Yeah.
sounds about right. So,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they were trying to make another superhero movie, and he has superpowers.
Boy, does he have superpowers.
He's, for some reason, as the Shadow, he seems to be super strong because he picks people up like with one arm and lifts them up in the air several times during the movie.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think they mentioned anywhere that was like a power. And while he could be strong, he does not seem to be that strong. And that face that they never explain why he looks like he's wearing like Max Headroom's head on his head when he turns into the Shadow.
That's his evil. That's the evil.
Is it evil? It's just a scarf and a big nose.
a big Jewy Jew nose, basically, is what I thought almost immediately. That
Really?
This was some sort of race inspired costume.
After our first episode was quite racist. At least this one really wasn't.
No, I don't feel like it was.
There was just sort of they didn't do anything goofy except have like some Peter Scolari looking dude as a cop being really ridiculous. There was some really bad comic relief scattered throughout here, and I really couldn't get a handle on what the tone of the movie was supposed to be.
It did change every now and then.
There'll be like a goofy like dur scene, and then 2 seconds later, 5 people will jump off a building or get shot or kill themselves.
There is a lot of suicide in this film. A lot.
It is kind of like I don't know what they were trying to make.
Yeah.
Now this was directed by Russell Mulcahy.
Yeah, he basically did a bunch of bullshit, bunch of TV shows. Nothing.
Resident Evil Extinction.
Yeah.
Highlander 2. The very best of the Human League.
He did a bunch of videos for Elton John as well.
Yeah, so I don't know how much. I mean, other than music video stuff, it's kind of he was an odd choice probably to make this. Maybe he had a personal interest in it, but it didn't really come through that he was super into the character necessarily.
Yeah, he did the Scorpion King too.
Oh boy, I didn't see that, so I'm not going to make fun of it.
Not good.
But anyway, so the laughter is annoying. The Shadow.
Oh my God! Hold on.
The Shadow beats. Okay, well, I just want to say this scene. The Shadow beats up one of the mobsters while the other 2 just kind of stand around and hold guns. The mobster gets beat up, does shoot 9 billion bullets for some reason up into the air, like he's expecting the laughter to be coming from there, but he's spinning around. There's a lot of spinning around in circles while shooting guns at 45-degree angles from the horizontal.
Where you could fire a Tommy gun on the Brooklyn Bridge and no one cared.
Well, that's because there's a giant map painting hanging 10 feet behind you. All the cars are stuck on the other side of that giant map painting.
But this, you get your first view of the Shadow.
Yes,
and it's pretty great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a good effect of him. He's like kind of blurry and foggy while he's moving around.
Yeah.
But I mean, it does. No one else. The other. It's odd that he doesn't. He only uses his powers on one of the 3 people who could be shooting at him, and the other 2 are just so stupid that they don't do anything.
I think they're still full of fear, Mark.
He seems to like not really use a lot of tactics in his special abilities. Like he's just like, hey, I'm kind of almost invisible. Oh, I forgot, I'm standing in water and everyone can see like where my feet are. He does that several times during the movie.
That part's That part's nice. It's
He
good.
stands-
That's a fun time.
He goes and stands in one place, gets shot, and then just hangs out until he can get shot again. It's weird. Maybe he got shot a lot in the Shadow. Maybe it's a tribute to something. I don't know.
That scene with Tim Curry, who we spoke of is in this movie, is working for the bad guy.
Well, you're jumping all the way ahead.
We gotta explain it.
Okay.
Somehow Tim Curry understands that if he unleashes his water, he can tell where the Shadow is, and fucking shoots the Shadow, who again is standing still, and when he gets shot, he goes ah, and just starts pouring blood into the water, and then he lets Tim Curry run off. But going back, so the Shadow saves Dr.
Tam.
Dr. Tam.
And he bullies he basically mind controls the bad guy on the bridge to go turn himself in.
Yeah.
And apparently lesser gangsters just get to go home. They don't have to turn themselves in.
Doesn't he throw him off the bridge?
No, they just walk away.
Oh my god, I did.
They
For some
away.
reason I thought he threw him off the bridge.
No. Maybe he did. I don't know.
Yeah. So
deleted
the Shadow and Dr. Tam get into a taxi, driven by none other than Peter Boyle. Yes. And then we get explained that the Shadow is basically a pimp, and if he saves your life, you owe your life to him, and you now work for him.
And you better not keep any money from him. Because he's got a lifestyle.
You better always use Jimmy's.
He has a lifestyle to support. He wants you out on that street with your big, glowy magic ring.
Yeah.
He does have. There's a lot of okay, I need a low-tech solution for this, and now I'll just use magic for this other thing.
Yeah. There's a lot of magic and mystical shit in this movie.
Yeah. And I mean, the Shadow comes from a time when everybody, every science fiction thing had they just expected that telepathy was real. It seems like, and it was just about to be proven any second. So it basically the Asian guy, Dr. Tam, Dr. Asian, is told you have to. I will call you, and then you have to do whatever I say.
Not only will I call you, but I will say the sun is shining.
But the ice is slippery.
Yes, exactly. Which is so badass. If I was ever going to be some sort of superhero, you definitely need, a secret phrase that when you say you just scream out loud real loud.
And when Dr. Tam later gets to say that, he immediately goes, "Oh, you also know the Shadow." Oh, okay.
He completely he polishes that up. He just ruins it.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't that at the time Alec Baldwin didn't turn invisible except for his eyes and then just roll his eyes.
Just smack him and take his ring back.
A pair of spinning eyes and just another ring floating around next to him. So yes, and then all of a sudden we're at the club from The Mask.
Yeah, because the Shadow seems to be going through some sort of he transforms back into Lamont Cranston, but it almost is like he's going through the DTs, like he's sweating and shaking, and then we're at the club where we meet Jonathan Winters.
Doesn't he get every time someone brings him a drink, it's always two. He gets 2 martinis.
I mean, listen, baby, you need one in the holster. You got to have one ready.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. So Jonathan Winters is whining, and he's apparently, the police chief?
He is the police chief and the Shadow's uncle.
Yes, and he does not like the way the Shadow has been wasting his life.
Yeah.
And I've never asked about that 7-year period after the war when you completely disappeared. And you're late for everything you've ever had to do, you're late. But you just sit around on your ass in your big mansion all day. So Jonathan Winters also doesn't like attractive ladies.
No, hates them.
which is, I'm shocked. Jonathan Winters, such a sexy man. I don't understand why he wouldn't be chasing after tail every second.
He has some Scooby-Doo mysteries to help solve. But this is where we also get the kind of a glimpse of the mind control abilities.
This was a very subtle. I really like the subtle effect of him just kind of like, okay, here's a shadow, just falls on him except for his eyes.
Yeah, and it's awesome. It's really cool, and like Jonathan Winters plays that part so well, where he's like, I don't need to find him; it doesn't even matter. Probably just waste my time anyway. Like it's not like some of the old movies where it's like, I will not find the shadow.
Yes, I really hate Jonathan Winters, but he's okay.
Oh my god!
I mean, I really do. I can't think of anything I've ever liked him in.
The Scooby-Doo cartoon.
Isn't he also? Well, he's dead for one thing.
He's in the ground.
So he did one thing I like. He played Papa Smurf in the Smurfs movies.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. He was in one episode of the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures TV show.
Oh, that's good enough for me.
And wasn't he on Mork and Mindy?
Yeah. Yeah, that seems right to me.
Yeah, Mork and Mindy. He was in 13 episodes.
Yeah.
He
plays... Yeah, I was going to say, he plays like...
their kid, right? Is he their kid?
I thought he was like the main dude.
They like in Mork and Mindy, doesn't Mork like age in reverse or something?
I honestly can't remember.
Wow, you're useless.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my 1981 TV show knowledge isn't as good as it used to be.
We're all sorry. So there's the simple shadow mind effect. There's the love interest makes an appearance, and Jonathan Winters is not impressed by Penelope Ann Miller.
But Kenny G is, because he starts playing almost immediately.
I wrote Kenny G music. Kenny G music is written down here. I'm very excited to skip to the next scene. So say whatever you have to say about this.
No, that's it. They go off to some Chinese food to get some Mandarin Peking duck.
Yeah. I need a Peking duck.
Don't we all need a Peking duck? And he speaks Mandarin, and I said, "Ooh, sexy."
And it's just very much like, oh, okay, everyone's psychic. Okay, this is happening. Cool.
Yeah, I have. This bitch can read minds too. Like, it's no big deal.
Yeah. And then so we leave that scene after they go on their dates. The Shadow likes her, but doesn't. When he realizes she can read minds, he can't let anyone know that he's the Shadow. So he's like, I'm never gonna see her again. Then we come to a fussy museum dude running through the museum, checking his pocket watch. I'm not really sure, other than like old-timey people look at pocket watches. Seems to be the only reason he does that. But meanwhile, I can tell why he's in a rush, because he runs right up to Alf's dad.
I was so excited when I saw this.
Alf's dad. So Alf's dad is in this movie. Disgraced Alf's dad.
Alf, what are you doing in that sarcophagus?
Alf, I didn't touch those children. What was it? What did Alf's dad actually do?
Wasn't he blowing dudes for drugs?
Maybe. Innocent until proven guilty. If only I could remember what Alf's dad's name was, I would look him up right now. But it's not
Max Wright.
Max Wright.
Max Wright.
Max Wright Burger is his name in the movie, and of course he is woefully underused.
He's actually done some stuff like lately.
Yep.
Like, I thought for sure he was dead.
Drunken driving. It doesn't say anything about a sex scandal on his IMDb. I'm shocked.
Or Wikipedia. So um, maybe we're just wrong.
Well, his page on IMDb next to it has user lists. My favorite actors, a list of 1,500 people, and the thumbnail is Jeffrey Jones. So there is a link, no matter how tenuous.
He was on the Norm Show in from
Norm,
2000.
we do
Norm,
not.
what are you doing?
Norm, this is not Melmac.
And it's because of this. It's because of that actor that I have never bothered to learn the main villain's name, and will refer to him as Elf through the whole movie.
His name
is Elf.
Name is not Alf. It's Shiwan. Shiwan Khan. Shiwan Khan. Yeah, so basically some guy who looks like Peter Scolari, whether or not he is, I'm unclear, but there's the goofy cop who is the museum gets an unexpected delivery of a solid silver casket that's supposed to have Genghis Khan inside of it. And they decide to go run off and look for God knows what and leave a dopey cop sitting alone to look at it.
Yeah.
The dopey cop sits there, and thank God, I thought it was going to be one of these things where you have to listen to doop, 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 doop music while the guy, like, investigates it. Because if this was freaking a Mummy movie, if this was Mummy Returns or something, we would have to have, like, a 5-minute scene. As is, yeah, Abbott and Costello meet Genghis Khan. We're spared from. Although there is the whole weird thing of this casket starts flapping like a crab.
Wait, it started.
And eventually pops open. What?
It started fapping in your version?
No, flapping.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I started fapping. But it started flapping, and anything with flaps I get excited by.
Yes. But it pops open, and there was a few times where I laughed, and I felt bad for laughing, but this was one of them. Because, like you said, it bounds open, and here comes this Mongolian, and the security guard points his gun and just says, "We're closed."
And he points his gun like no police officer ever has.
So matter-of-factly.
He's practically got like a finger stuck in the barrel while he's pointing it. And he's pointing it at who looks like Genghis Caucasian. And at first I thought this was supposed to be the actual Genghis Khan, because there's magic in the movie anyway.
Yes.
So I figured, oh wow, it's Genghis Khan, and he already knows English, and he knows what a gun is, and he's been locked inside of this casket forever. So at least they explained that, so I didn't have to get too confused about it.
Yeah.
And Genghis Khan basically just tells the cop to go to kill himself.
Yeah, so Alf makes this security guard kill himself.
Wait, Alf?
Yeah, Alf.
Oh, because you're calling him Alf.
Yeah.
I forgot you were funny.
I'm not leaving that premise that I'm funny and the main villain is Alf.
Okay, I only have so much disbelief to suspend. So all of a sudden there's actual death in this movie, which I was not expecting after no one died in the first scene. Well, I guess James Hunt dying and the other guy. But I didn't expect once the Shadow became a good guy for anyone to die.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think the stakes were quite that high. So I was very surprised when the guy dies.
Yeah, he shoots himself in the head. For PG-13, a lot of suicides.
So there's not much blood. There's no, like, blood on the ground, but a lot of people do get shot.
Yes. Yeah. And then Elf's dad and the other guy run back. And they run right past Genghis Khan just to find a dead security guard. And then we go to the next scene, which is Magneto and Frankenfurter are talking about some science shit.
Yes, about beryllium spheres.
Yes.
And we learned that Penelope Ann Miller is actually the daughter of Magneto.
I mean, because the accents match up pretty well.
So which one of the X-Men is she then, Skippy?
If she's gonna be an X-Men, Emma Frost. She has got the mind reading abilities.
She's
or a Jean Grey.
Well, which of them would look to Magneto as a more likely father figure? Jean Grey wouldn't.
Well, Jean Grey turns into the Phoenix, which then sides with Magneto. Emma Frost is part of the Hellfire Club, which is bad.
Right. Okay.
So really, either way.
Okay. So Magneto and Frankenfurter are hanging out. I just wrote down 100% Tim Curry.
Yes.
Because there's no mistaking who this is. It might as well be, the bad guy from Annie. The daughter comes in and is just, creepy Tim Curry is trying to get a date with her.
Witty banter in this scene is not witty banter. It's not funny, and I didn't have any fun.
She says to him that she doesn't want to see his beryllium spheres. It's just not. That's not good. That's not good at all.
Tim Curry's not being so creepy.
Yeah. So I don't know where that scene goes. It just kind of ends.
Yeah. It ends, and then she goes in to talk to her dad, and we find out that he is colorblind, and it's funny.
He doesn't not know actually colorblind. He's just forgotten which color red is.
Yeah, he doesn't know the difference between red and green, it seems like.
Which is to set up a hilarious joke later.
Oh, it's, you know what? The payoff for that? Dividends. I loved it.
I would have given that joke a green light. And by green light, I mean a red light.
Stop it.
Please stop.
It's never happening again.
Please end the movie before that happens. So then the Shadow goes to his pretty cool, like, his lair. What's he call it? It's his, like, thingamajig. He has a cool name for it. Whatever. His sanctum.
There's a scene right before that where the whole town is covered in tubes. Like a whole tubing system.
Oh,
just for the Shadow. Yeah. It's right before he goes to his sexy hideout.
Pneumatic tubes.
Yes.
So, whatever. And the magic. We're not at the part where the magic rings are glowing yet, but there's still, like, he can do magic, but he needs to have pneumatic tubes. And he has a video phone.
Yes. In a later scene, we get like a Skype type like video screen.
It's higher tech than what we are talking on right now to do this podcast.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, it's a canned string system that we have, but I think it's working.
What?
But who else is in the sexy hideout but Elf? Genghis Khan is in the hideout.
The Asian life form. And they haven't. This is a pretty good scene. I mean, Khan comes off as pretty stalkerish, but I like the scenes where they talk.
You and I are exact opposites in this. I hate when good guys and bad guys sit and talk.
I thought, well, we'll get to it later, but I thought the scene where Khan is eating dinner, that was actually a well done scene.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I honestly, there are two scenes.
I didn't mind that much.
What?
I said that one for some reason I didn't mind that much. I did split this up into 2 days. That could be part of the reason.
I bit the bullet. I went in hard and fast, and I watched this whole movie at once.
Ooh, yeah.
And Khan flicks basically they talk, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to take over the world in 3 days.
You should help me. Come be my son.
And he throws a magic coin at the Shadow and then disappears.
Yeah.
It turns out that the Dr. Asian from the first scene, it was he's into metallurgy.
Yeah.
So he gets summoned. He gets summoned in the aforementioned scene where you work for the Shadow, and then finds out that the coin is made of a magic mineral called bronzium.
Bronzium, yeah.
Which is apparently like ancient Chinese secret uranium, because you could use it to make a nuclear bomb.
Yeah. Me Chinese, you play joke. Me make a bomb that make you explode.
And he says his mumbo jumbo, his science mumbo jumbo is so incredibly stupid. He keeps talking about like cells that hold the molecules together. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Basically, we learn that the Shadow like comes up with the name for an atomic bomb.
Yes. And the only thing
because the stupid Asian wants to call it an implosive, explosive, molecular gobbledygook bomb.
Yes, and Alf's no, sorry, not Alf. Alf, no, not Alf. Alf, no, not Alf. Penelope, Magneto. That's who I'm talking about. Magneto is the only person who has. He's invented the only thing that could blow up this bomb if there was enough bronzium in it.
Yeah, the Shadow and Dr. Tam are talking, and they're like, well, good thing nobody's ever invented that. Wah, wah. Next scene, Magneto, you fucking shit up again. He's got a big old bomb.
And beryllium. And I was never really clear what Tim Curry's character's, like, what his contribution to the bomb is.
Well, he has this sphere that holds it, I believe, right?
But isn't that the sphere is what Ian McKellen has?
Oh, I think they're partners, is what I was gathering. Like that's what the conversation kind of was when we first meet the two.
I was always unclear about it. It was just like Tim Curry's character wants to make he wants to weaponize this thing, and Ian McKellen just wants to do research.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesus.
But whatever. Who cares?
But then we go to this pretty awesome scene of Genghis Khan
meditating. Hands.
yeah, meditating. And he contacts Magneto.
Yes, by appearing in a giant llama cigarettes ad.
Yeah, and a giant elf billboard appears outside of Magneto's laboratory.
And I can't remember exactly how the Shadow knows to go back to that lab, but he shows up shortly thereafter because he somehow finds out.
Well, so there's another scene at the club where Jonathan Winters basically calls Lamont a knucklehead, and
Penelope Ann Miller shows up again.
Shows up and says, my dad's disappeared. He's working on some sort of spherical nuclear device or some bullshit. And then, it clicks with the Shadow and he's off like a ball.
Yes, and he tries to mind control her but fails.
Yeah, which is a pretty funny scene as well.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed that. Alec Baldwin's eyes turn black and he's like, you'll never think of me again. And she's like, why would I do that?
So anyway, the Shadow ends up at Magneto's lab, and it's crawling with Mongolians, and there's like a '60s Batman TV fight.
Oh,
with 9 million Dutch angles all over the place and wacky colors.
I was watching jumped, so I didn't see any of that.
Oh well, it's not a great fight, but a lot of Mongolians die. You didn't see any of this fight? This is one. At one point, the Shadow is invisible, because that's one of his things.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
A Mongolian shoots a crossbow bolt at him, and it goes into what I assume is his cape, pins him to the wall, and he just stands there until the guy reloads his crossbow and shoots him in the other shoulder and pins him to the wall. Then he becomes visible, pulls out 2 guns, and finally shoots all the Mongolians that he was just kind of punching before.
God damn, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's good when he takes the guns are cool. They're gigantic chrome-plated guns. They're really cool looking, and the Shadow does not care at all about killing people.
No, he'll kill all day.
Yeah, so he blows away a bunch of guys, but the fight's over. The action is so goofy that I thought maybe they tried to take it from a comic book, and this was some sort of early, Sin City version of 1994 crappy Sin City.
Sure.
But I guess it's not. Somehow in the confusion, Penelope Ann Miller's character gets mind controlled by Alf. See, I'm doing it now too.
Yeah.
Now, did you see this part, Steve?
I didn't. I came back basically to the dinner scene. Like, it jumped from the laboratory to the Mongolian tailing the shadow.
So you didn't see when Penelope Ann Miller's Margot, when Margot takes, like, she gets mind controlled? You didn't see that?
I didn't see that.
Okay,
But
because
I assumed it happened because Alf, or the shadow, says, you sent her to kill me.
somehow Alf is better at controlling Penelope Ann Miller's character than the Shadow is.
Of course.
And he tells her that she has to go kill the Shadow. So he gives her a gun with one bullet in it, and she goes straight to the Shadow's house, and she's totally like hypnotized in I must kill Pap Schmear mode. She like opens up the door and shoots, but she actually shot a mirror. Because Alec Baldwin, the Shadow, is he's tending his crossbow bolt injury to the shoulder. She comes in, he like slaps her out of it, and she's like, "Oh my God, you're the Shadow! I came right to your house as soon as he told me to kill the Shadow." Blah 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 blah.
Sure.
So then they so you didn't even see their like almost sexy times.
No, they had almost sexy times.
Well, he says like you can. He says you can stay here. I'm a bit confused because I was hoping you would drag me through this movie's plot. Because I tell you, I must kill Pap Schmear written down. Next thing is casual Mongol. Because there's a Mongolian just following Alec Baldwin down the street.
Yeah. That's where I came back.
Okay,
that's
you
where
saw this.
Yeah, and I like when that came on, I was very confused.
Yes, because
no one was
Shadow
reacting to this fucking Mongolian in full armor walking down the
with
street.
a sword.
Yeah.
And so Alec Baldwin tells Margot to stay at his place. He's going to go out and do God knows what. He's going to find Khan. He starts getting followed by the casual Mongol on the streets. He's trying to track down the Khan.
Elf, yes.
This is when he finds the Khan and they talk in the restaurant while Khan is eating rice.
Yeah, and Alec Baldwin says, "This is the United States of America, pal." And I have just written down USA, USA. And
Frank Welker's magic dagger makes an appearance.
It does, and oh man.
And
worth every penny.
The Shadow mind controls a Mongol, and which allows him to escape. Alf kills the Mongol because he's like, "Oh, you have a weak mind."
Yeah.
I like that scene, like I said. Then, he tries to follow. Yes, he tries to figure out where the hideout is for Khan.
This scene made me realize that we need a motorcycle with a sidecar so we can go on adventures.
You're tired of me riding on your back? Is that what you're saying?
I like nuts to butts, but I think the sidecar would really sell us as a duo.
What if I rode in like a fanny pack that you had on?
That might work too.
Like, because I'm telling you, Master Blaster wouldn't be as cool if the Master was in a sidecar and the Blaster was driving.
Well, you say that, but fucking the Elf gets in the sidecar. He doesn't even drive the fucking motorcycle, which is kind of a lame move on Elf.
I have to confess that right now, all I can think about is a porn version of Thunderdome with Finger Blaster. In ruling Bordertown.
Those are my fucking lemons. So Peter Boyle shows up. They follow Khan, and he disappears. And Lamont
Yep, and in an
well as stuff.
abandoned lot.
Yep, it's just an empty lot, or is it? So
He goes
then,
back to so the shadow gives up, and they go back to his apartment.
yes, and I thought
Where,
for sure we were gonna see some Alec Baldwin sexy rape time.
wait, why sexy rape time?
Yeah, he walks in.
What rape?
Well, I wasn't aware of the scene before where they almost banged. Um,
Well, they don't really almost bang, but they're. I thought that this upcoming scene was the one that you missed.
oh no, yeah, he walks in and she's passed out, and I was like, oh, he's gonna rape her.
Oh, why would you think that?
I like to dream.
Is it because you know what evil lurks in the hearts of men?
I do. I know what evil lurks in the heart of Alec Baldwin.
I know what evil lurks in the bone of Steve.
Rape.
uh, so she stays the night, but in another guest bedroom, right?
Yeah. And we get like an amazing dream sequence.
Yes,
Like,
it's almost like the poltergeist face picking scene.
yes, it is, and it's fucking awesome.
He
Really,
shoves
really
his whole
cool.
freaking. He starts picking at his face, the shadow at his nightmare, and puts his entire hand like in the skin of his face, and it's really good.
Yeah, it's awesome. Great.
And he wakes up scared. It's morning. He goes into Margot's room, and she's like being all sexy on the bed, and
Yeah.
she talks about how horny she is. Basically, she's like, "Oh, I
Yep.
had a dream. I was naked on a beach
A
in
beach.
the South Pacific.
That's when I started jerking off.
It was hot and cold. Ugh." She asks him like if he had any
Yeah.
dreams, and he's like, "I pulled my face off."
Yeah, and she says you have problems, and again, I just laughed. Like,
Yeah, like that is
funny.
one of the two good scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
And she refuses to, she's like, "I'm gonna help out. You need me. I can read minds. Like I'm worthwhile. I'm a good
There's a
person."
there's a penis joke.
Ugh, yeah, that's the one thing I don't like about this.
Penis jokes.
It reminds me that I don't have a penis. Too, too hard. I don't need that reality intruding on my movie watching.
So they run off, and then we find Alf and Magneto on top of the Empire State Building.
Oh God, yes. And they're showing off how wide the destruction will be from this nuclear bomb that they're gonna blow up.
Yeah. And then some sailor or army guy says,
Or seaman.
or seaman.
I
a
know you want
seaman
to say.
tells a seaman tells Alf that he's wearing a nice dress, and of course, Alf makes him kill himself.
Yes, and he does so awesomely.
Yes.
He falls off. He falls and then crunches and bounces off a parapet or something.
Yes.
And it's so goofy.
While Elf is singing the lullaby of Broadway.
And he dies in the background of a shot of Margot and the Shadow just kind of like talking.
Yeah. Which again,
which is also pretty good.
This film shot amazing.
Yeah, it's one of those things you don't usually, I'm so used to so many movies. Just, okay, here's the bad guy scene, here's the good guy scene. There's nothing relating these two scenes.
Yeah.
And something like that where it's also one of the deaths that like that's really not comical at all, even though it's kind of funny that this guy just said, "Oh, you got to dress." It's kind of done well. Like the guy is kind of, he's like, "I don't know why I'm doing this. Like somebody save me," and then he still jumps anyway.
He's coherent while he's jumping.
And then he just ends up dying in the background. It's kind of it's almost like it's a weird transition from the serious like bad guy to the good guy, and here's something that is kind of both in the background. Like, oh, it's kind of funny, but it's also bad.
For sure.
Yes. Yes.
But
Then we go to the ultra goofy sphere scene right after this.
yes, with more Tim Curry, which I am a big fan of.
What's your least favorite Tim Curry movie?
Well, it's funny because I have written down here. You know what's a great movie? Clue. Tim
I
Curry.
wrote down that Tim Curry thinks he's in Clue. He does. I mean, he's wearing like the same suit as he wears in Clue.
When did Clue's from the 80s, right?
I'll tell you in a brief moment. I have 85.
Yeah, and this is 94. Maybe he kept it.
I really do not like Tim Curry.
Oh my God, you're the worst.
He's the same in everything.
I'm fine with that. It works.
He's better than Frank Welker.
Oh yeah, we can agree. We agree on that.
And they're both in Capital Critters.
I remember that show. What a horrible, horrible show.
Yep. Not on for very long. Yeah.
But this is the scene that we were just talking about where Tim Curry, busts open a water main, and the Shadow gives it enough time to fill up slightly. Tim Curry to pull out a gun, shoot him.
Like he just shoots like 6 times where the feet are and manages to get 1 bullet into the Shadow.
Yeah.
I don't really know what this ball thing is.
It must have been some sort of science thing.
Okay, it's a science ball. Okay.
The science ball. I mean, do you need more explanation than science ball?
So Tim Curry runs out. He bars the spinny wheel that locks the door and runs away.
Yep.
And leaves the Shadow to drown. The Shadow uses his mental connection to Margot to summon her, and
which is genius.
It like whacks her off her chair.
Yeah.
And she has to run back across town to save him. It's kind of cool that he breathes through the bullet hole.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna do like a kind of lame Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing where he like meditates and doesn't have to breathe for a while. So I like that he just breathed through the hole.
Yeah.
Although it didn't seem as like he could have done that forever. So it wasn't quite the rush that it could have been.
But then you know what would have happened? The ball would have filled with poop and pee, and it's just nobody wants to live in that.
Do you think a shark would have come in?
Yeah, that also could have happened because he was bleeding.
Oh, you're right. Sharks do that. I read that on Shark Week, the book. Yeah. So right after this, the research was to figure out. Margot was off researching to figure out what the heck was going on at that abandoned
empty lot.
Yeah. And she found out there used to be a hotel there. So
yes.
once the Shadow gets freed from here, they go back there, and he uses his mental powers to uncloud himself and see that actually Alf has hypnotized everybody.
Yes, everybody in the whole town.
Into there not being a building there.
Yeah, I remember seeing this scene when I saw it the first time. It's an awesome scene. It's great.
It's done well, although there is a lot of the Shadow like staring at it and being like, "Wow, wow."
Yeah.
So he basically leaves everybody outside and just goes in to find Khan.
Isn't there some stuff in between that?
Maybe.
I can't. I think you're right. There's notes. Yeah, that's the other thing. There's a letter slipped under the cabbie's door.
Oh, jeez.
Because again, not everybody has the Skype machine.
Yes.
And then, he goes in.
So it's basically he summons a few people to come and wait outside.
Wait outside, exactly. And Peter Boyle makes a comment, do you know what I love about this job? The excitement. Because they're standing in the rain outside this hotel.
And Margot somehow wanders in because she knows that her dad is in there.
No. Your job, you're
How'd she get in there?
you've jumped much too far.
I'm very anxious to get there.
How dare
So,
you?
I mean, my notes say this is my notes of this part of the movie. Ultra goofy sphere scene. Blah blah secret building. Tim Curry and retarded McKellen.
Oh my God! Yeah. So
Next thing
he goes
is
in.
lame Batmanish score. Tim Curry thinks he's in Clue.
Okay? So the Shadow goes in. Elf feels his presence, of course.
Right.
Sends Tim Curry and 3 Mongolians to go kill him. So Tim Curry and the Shadow have kind of a standoff where Tim Curry again spins in a circle and shoots the Tommy gun, and of course misses him every time.
Up into the air.
Yeah, I believe on the wall it said "Eat Lead Tracy," but I couldn't really get a good glimpse at it. But then the fucking Shadow makes Tim Curry kill himself.
Yes.
Which it is awesome, but unbecoming of a superhero.
Yeah, he kind of drives him crazy and then makes him just run through a window and crash onto a table.
Yeah, and I put in here so much better than Batman because making your enemy kill themselves is great.
Yeah, I didn't kill him. It's the mental version of I'm not hitting you.
Yeah.
Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
So then the Shadow goes to Elf's lair.
Mm-hmm.
Elf hits a switch and the floor starts like rocking back and forth.
Yeah, that floor must have been on loan from Ming the Merciless.
It's awesome.
Because it's pretty cool. Or is that? It's not Ming the Merciless's floor, isn't it? Like the King of Arborea or something. Who is it who has the floor with the spikes?
I can't remember. I can't remember.
Because I think it was I think if you fell, you would fall all the way to Arborea. Whatever. So the Flash Gordon floor is all wiggling and wobbling around, and it knocks the Shadow down.
Yep.
Frank Welker's knife.
Yep.
Yes.
You were gonna skip all this. So the knife comes back. There's a fight between the knife and the Shadow. The Shadow finally learns how to master this knife because I guess anybody with telepathy can master the knife. Stabs Elf in the guts.
Yes.
And the building now shows up for everybody, and then Margot, and Peter Boyle.
Okay, I forgot that. So yes. I didn't really understand why the Shadow all of a sudden could do it. I
think he found his chi, Mark.
Well, I guess that's why he wasn't strong enough to control Margot, and Khan was.
Yeah.
So then Margot runs in to try to help the Shadow.
Mm-hmm. And runs right into her dad.
Yes. And Peter Boyle just waits outside.
No, Peter Boyle's with him.
Wait, what's he do?
I swear to God, I thought they ran in together. But then, disappears when the antics... So, I'm sorry, we also skipped the fact that...
there's a nuclear bomb?
And once he got stabbed, all of the hypnotism in the whole city has now run off. So Magneto is snapped out of it.
Yes, but he's still stupid as hell.
Yeah.
And Margot and Magneto run into they go to where the nuclear bomb is, which at this point only has an hour left on its timer.
Yes. He snips a cord, and the timer goes so quickly. Now there's 2 minutes.
Yeah, and then he manages to put the wires back together that he snipped.
Yeah.
Then somehow he tries to snip another wire, and instead knocks it from the rope that's been holding it in midair for God knows why.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
And this turns into nuclear Marvel madness because the wiggly floor underneath them is now gives impetus to this spherical bomb, and it starts going up and down stairs.
Yep.
And all over the place, and they're chasing after because they got 2 minutes to undo this bomb.
I wrote down, there's so much talent in this movie, and as I say this, Magneto's fumbling with the bomb.
Yeah,
it's slapstick nonsense,
It is.
essentially.
I wonder if they all got huge paychecks.
I mean, the budget was $40 million.
How much was that for a 1994 superhero movie?
I mean, that had to be a lot, right? What else came out? I know this was against Lion King, and yeah, it didn't do well in the box office. It made $48 million. It was against Lion King and The Mask.
So oh god, yeah,
Yeah.
going up against The Mask was kind of rough for this movie.
I mean, that's hot Cameron Diaz right there.
Yeah,
But
especially-
the budget for The Mask was only $23 million, so this was double the budget of The Mask. So I have a feeling most of that went to the cast.
well, the budget for the original Batman in 1989 was $35 million. So
Man.
this is around the same budget
Yeah.
as Batman, and I mean, it's been a while since I sat and watched the entire Batman. I don't remember. I'm sure there's lots of like matte paintings and stuff going on in there, but I do
There's some
not.
definitely cheese, but it works.
And I mean, but Batman didn't. I mean, it had Nicholson, but how much could everyone else have demanded, like salary wise?
What else did Michael Keaton do before that?
He did Mr. Mom,
See? Then yeah,
Gung Ho.
he needed a lot of money.
I think people wanted to make that movie. I mean, Keaton wanted to do something that wasn't a goofy comedy, I'm sure. But okay, so yeah, a lot of people got paid a lot of money to not do much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like this was around the same time as Darkman, right? Like I honestly confused those two movies a lot, like as a kid.
The Shadow and Darkman?
Because the like they're both dudes who cover up most of their faces and look goofy.
Well, Darkman has a reason. He's all burnt up.
Yeah, well, I figured the Shadow had a reason.
Darkman, 1990.
So this was after Darkman.
This was after Darkman.
Yeah,
And
I don't like
Darkman-
Darkman.
Darkman
And
was only
that's-
$16 million.
Yeah, I don't like Darkman. The special effects are pretty bad.
Well, you hate Sam Raimi.
I don't hate Sam Raimi. I hate his modern movies.
And you hate Liam Neeson.
I do hate Liam Neeson.
And Danny Elfman.
I don't hate Danny Elfman.
I do.
Ever since Liam Neeson took my daughter, I hated him. I've been trying to kill him since then.
Well, we're so close to the end.
Okay, so yeah, so they eventually they catch the bomb eventually, and there's the dopey. Oh, I should cut the red wire.
And he cuts the green wire.
But it's good. He did the right thing.
Yeah.
Hooray!
It stops the bomb.
At
So
1
then-
second.
Yeah, the Shadow has now chased Elf down into like a stock room almost with
He's
10,000
him
mirrors.
I think. Yeah, he chased him into Enter the Dragon.
and the Shadow can't figure out which elf to kill because there's all these mirrors. So the Shadow seems to meditate for a second and shatters every fucking mirror. He then uses his...
That's what Michael Jackson does in that video.
Oh!
Yes. So he shatters all the glass, and then
He uses his
I'll let
mind
you take it.
abilities to take a giant shard of this mirror and stab Elf in the fucking head.
yeah.
And that's that. We go outside. Your buddy rolls up, Jonathan Winters, and starts drinking from a flask because he can't believe what just happened here. Where'd this building come from? And then it smash cut to Elf, like waking up, and he is in a straitjacket
And a padded room.
in a padded room.
And his doctor comes in. His doctor is wearing one of the Shadow's rings.
Well, you don't listen. Spoiler alert.
Hey, I'm giving it away, baby. Spoiler. You're right. I don't want to spoil the last 30 seconds of this movie after we've talked about everything.
So, yeah, so Elf is trying to use his mind control abilities. He says, I'm never going to let you lose.
And I took
then,
part of your brain.
Yeah, we saved
Don't worry,
your
nobody uses that part of the brain anyway.
It gave you lobotomy. Lobotomy.
I only took away the unusable telepathy part of your brain.
Yeah, it's mapped right here on this brain image we have.
Yeah, so no more power for Alf.
Nope. And then I have the Shadow just pays people to lobotomize his enemies, which is amazing if you think about it. Like, it's so insane that this is a superhero who shoots, has his enemies kill themselves, and lobotomized.
And he constantly drinks.
Yeah.
And is super rich and not really tortured by the fact that he used to sell opium.
Yeah.
And, like, murder people left and right.
Not at all.
And one thing, there's a part near the end where Alec Baldwin like loses his ability to put on the goofy shadow mask.
Oh,
where he looks different, and he's near the end when he's fighting the Khan.
Yeah.
He loses his cape, and he's just like a dude in a black suit, basically, with two giant silver guns, and he looks pretty fucking badass. That blowing people away.
That scene where he basically transforms from the Shadow back into Lamont is awesome.
He's being told that like, oh, you're losing your concentration. You can't win against this.
Yeah, it was great. Again, like the camera work and most of the special effects are awesome in this movie. But that's basically it. Like we get a stupid scene between Penelope and Alec Baldwin where he says, "I'll see you later," and she says, "Well, how will you know where I am?" And he just says, "Oh no," and like disappears down the alley. And then we get that awesome original Sin song I talked about earlier by Taylor Dane. But I fucking love this movie, and fuck you, Mark, because I think it's great.
I was so hoping for a shadow rap at the end. No shadow rap.
Do what they want to do, say what they want to say. Shadow.
I wanted, like, from the, 3 or 4 things I really liked in this movie, if they had waited another 10 years to make this, it probably would have been a bazillion times better. Yeah. And there was talk, for a long time they were talking about remaking this. I think Raimi was actually going to make it. I forget who I read about it, but somebody was supposed to either produce it or make it, and they couldn't get a good script, so they've stopped trying. But it seemed like, after Batman Begins, if they tried to make this and they got rid of the goofiness and just focused on if the Shadow was more of a real character, because there are hints of him being an actual character here and there.
Yeah, well, and that was one of the main things I noticed too, is he's barely in this.
Yeah.
The titular character, the Shadow, is very little screen time.
I mean, it would be kind of interesting to see a superhero movie where he's supposed to be secret and he is just whispered about and you really do not see him almost the entire movie.
Did you hear what the Shadow did?
It's just everyone kind of reacting to him and bad guys being terrified and just kind of talking about what happened off screen to their underlings. But I didn't really like the villain in this movie either.
No, the villain's kind of lame, but everyone's so vicious in the movie. Everyone's making their enemies kill themselves.
Yeah.
So I can almost forget the weak villain just for the mere fact that he has every single person that says something mean to him kill themselves.
Which is kind of, I mean, that's a lot. A lot of like goofy bad guys do that though nowadays.
Yeah.
Like you insult me, like random people. I don't know why that's a thing, but nobody's willing to just like drop it. Like you think, you know what? I'm Genghis Khan's like super powered relative. I'm gonna take over the world in 2 days. You're gonna be dead. Why bother? Why bother killing you now? It'd be cooler to just be like, just tell the guy, like hold him down and tell him like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to blow up the entire city. Like explain your entire plot to this dumb fucking sailor.
Yeah.
And terrify him with how evil you are instead of just being like, oh, go kill yourself. Because what's that guy going to do? He's not going to, like, he can't do anything. The only person who can save anyone in this movie is the Shadow. And to a much smaller part, like
Magneto.
Magneto doesn't save anybody. Margot, like, if Margot wasn't there, that dummy would be trying to eat lead paint off the walls.
Running streetlights.
Oh, this green paint tastes delicious.
But, so, did you like it?
I'm glad I watched it because it was interesting. I didn't think it was good. Like, I'm never going to watch it again.
Yeah, it's... I, for a minute, was looking for, like, a DVD, and you could only find it, like, online, and I'm like, I'll probably, like you're saying, I'll probably never watch it again. But I still really enjoyed it. Like, it's not a horrible superhero movie at all. Like,
no,
with some of the other ones
weird.
that are out there, it's a lot better.
It's a weird superhero movie, but it's not a bad... Like, I mean, there have been so many worse superhero movies than this.
Yeah.
There have been so many worse adventure movies. There have been so many worse crime movies, or even 1930s movies.
Yeah, for sure.
But I really would have wished... I mean, I do wish that they had picked a tone. If they had stayed serious, but I don't know how they could stay serious when they've got Tim Curry, Jonathan Winters, Peter Boyle. Like, they hired a bunch, that weird Peter Scolari looking dude. They had and someone named Jelly Bean.
Yeah, I want to know who Jelly Bean was. Because are there any animals? I don't feel like there's any animals.
It was Jelly Bean Benitez, the music supervisor.
Well, there you go. I've already commented on the music and how great it is.
It's, well, except for that Kenny G interlude.
Oh, I loved it.
He was the composer of 3 episodes of The Ricky Lake Show.
Ricky.
Do you know I was in the audience of a Ricky Lake Show?
No.
I was.
Ooh.
I skipped school.
Well, I mean, why would you even bother going if you're going to Ricky Lake?
I did learn a lot. Learned a lot about life and love.
If this is any consolation for you, the audience on Rotten Tomatoes kind of mirrors your opinion. It has a 44 audience score.
Yeah, and IMDb gives it a 5.6.
Yeah, not hated, not loved, but good.
I can definitely see this being like, I mean, it's got to be in the top 30 or so best superhero movies. I don't know where.
Well, there was an article done by some stupid fucking magazine, Entertainment Weekly, some hack job. But it's on their list for 21 worst comic book movies ever. And it's
really?
Which I don't understand. Like, you have the original Fantastic Four movie, which is... have you ever seen that?
I don't think I actually sat... You were talking about the Roger Corman one?
Roger Corman, yeah. It is not good. Like, it's
I've seen bits and pieces,
really
but I know this is kind of... For the amount of freaking trauma movies I've sat through, like, I am not a huge fan of Corman stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I like some of it, but a lot of it is very samey and kind of boring to me.
Yeah.
And I know that's because, I mean, especially the modern stuff, like freaking Carnosaur 2, how much are you going to expect from it? It's just, it's going to be terrible. But, like, I like Death Race 2000. I'm having a hard time coming up with movies that I actually like that are Corman movies. I guess some of his, some of, like, the women in prison, like, Filipino shot stuff is good.
Well, the other movies on this list so far, I can kind of understand. Like Ghost Rider, The Spirit, Barbed Wire, Catwoman with Halle Berry,
Yeah.
Brenda Starr.
Well, wait, what? When was that?
1992. They also have on here The Phantom, which I mentioned at the beginning.
Is that the
came out
Billy
around the
Zane
same
one?
time. It is, and it's not horrible, I thought. But again, I saw that when I was 11.
Yeah.
They have Daredevil sharing a spot with Elektra. They have Tank Girl on here, which I don't necessarily agree with.
I don't know if I could watch Tank Girl again.
2005 Fantastic Four. Sheena from 1984. The Punisher from 2004.
I saw Sheena with my mom at the theater.
They have Barbarella on here.
What?
Yeah,
mom.
I'm telling you, Entertainment Weekly hack.
My mom couldn't get past the fact that Sheena had eye makeup on.
They have Swamp Thing on here. I'm done with this list.
Yeah. Screw that. They have Swamp Thing 2 on there?
I don't know. I closed the window.
Swamp Thing 2 can't hold a candle to Swamp Thing 1.
I don't know, man. What's her name?
It can't hold. It can't. It can't hold a little stubby green arm candle. So okay, so this one, it didn't live up to your expectation. Would you have liked it? Do you think as much if you hadn't seen it as a kid first? How much of this was nostalgia, and how much of it was this is a good movie?
Well, again, there were definitely parts that I didn't like. Don't get me wrong. Like I thought it was a fun movie, but like you, I wouldn't make my wife sit and watch it.
But you did make your wife sit and watch Ant Farm Dick Hole.
Ant Farm Dick Hole, yes. Which, if you're going to watch a movie, Ant Farm Dick Hole is the one you're going to watch. You're not going to watch The Shadow. But I would recommend it for anybody who hasn't seen it.
I think that's a good question.
As long as I don't have to watch it again.
Would you rather watch Ant Farm Dick Hole or The Shadow?
The Shadow.
You would rather watch The Shadow right now?
Yeah.
Even though it took you 2 days to watch The Shadow.
Well, I'm busy. I'm a busy boy. I got things to do.
You have your ant farm to tend.
Well, plus I whacked off a lot during the movie.
Are we done with this? Are we done with this thing?
Well, do you have anything in mind for episode 3?
You know what? Like, I kind of don't want to go back to the horror comedy well this quickly.
Yeah.
But there is what the heck's the name of it? Oh, I can't remember the name of it. The one with what's his name? The Mountie.
The only Mountie I know is from wrestling.
It hasn't been 10 years, but Transylvania Twists, which is a Jim Wynorski film. Have you ever seen that?
No.
That's another horror comedy, and it has a very sexy lady in it.
Well, I'm all about that.
I can't remember who it is. If I hadn't recently watched the first Elvira movie, I would totally be down for that.
Oh, well, I've seen it.
Yeah, but oh god, it's so good.
It is so good.
It's the best movie. It's maybe up there with RoboCop.
Oh, how dare you?
Can you imagine if RoboCop had huge Elvira boobs?
Yeah, I would whack off more than I already do.
Tonight, I'm going to have a dream that I'm on a beach in the South Seas naked with Elvira Cop.
All right, so Transylvania Twist. We're saying Transylvania Twist.
Hey! No. How about Nightwing? Never seen
Nightwing.
Nightwing. Wait, is that the movie? Hold on. Vamp.
Uh, I don't
Yes.
know.
Nightwing.
I was trying to come up with a different name for Elvira Cop. Nightwing movie?
Roboner Cop?
Robo.
Okay, Nightwing. I used to see this on HBO all the time when I was a kid. Nightwing is from 1979. It is about killer bats. It has a
Okay.
magical Indian.
I'm down.
And it has evil himself, David Warner. The MCP is in this movie.
I'm down with this.
And the big thing I remember, besides the fact that there's a magical Indian, is that a large portion of the end of the movie takes place in a guano-filled cave with the killer bats. And I remember learning about ammonia and how it was very hard to breathe because of all the rat poop. I mean, bat poop. There were not rats. There were just bats.
So it's a learning experience movie too. I'm gonna learn something.
Well, yeah. I mean, I saw it when I was like 8. So there's a lot to learn when you're 8 years old.
I mean, especially for you.
I wasn't as wise as I am now.
All right, I'm down with that.
Okay, so Nightwing. Oh, is
Next
there anything
episode, Nightwing, the horror movie from 1979.
else about killer bats? It's a nature gone crazy movie, they're always good. Every one of them. What was that?
That's my dog.
What's a dog?
See, you need to see a movie about it.
Can you eat them?
I mean, you can.
Are they like cats?
Well, God.
Okay,
I also sent you a link.
Yes. So Alf did have the dad from Alf did have some problems in the
He
past.
did. And there was pictures of him doing crack and sleeping with a black guy.
Well, he's just in bed with a black guy.
Well,
Well, he's kissing a black guy.
yeah.
No, he's kissing a
Yeah.
crackhead.
Well, there's not much difference.
Really? Do you know more about sleeping with guys than I do?
Especially on
You
crack.
saying are you saying it's a slippery slope?
It's a slippery, slippery slope.
One day
But he is from Detroit.
a man marries a man, the next day a man marries an Alf.
What's crazy is all of his stuff has no information about it.
No, it's a mystery. I think it was all a cover up. Princess Diana probably was involved. They cropped her out and they put this big kind of beefy black guy in there.
What about Bat Boy?
Bat Boy?
Yeah, was Bat Boy involved?
He's high up in the government these days. He's involved in everything. He's got his fingers in a lot of bat pies.
Oh,
This
I
is
just
the
found an
worst-
article with more pictures.
Ooh, share. Because people like to look at pictures on a podcast.
Well, I figured you're just gonna edit all this out.
No. You think I'm going to edit a lot harder than I actually am. Alf's dad. Okay, so this is from a link. HolyTaco.com. Alf's dad loves gay sex and crack. Mild-mannered Alf star Max Wright has been caught on camera smoking crack and making gay pornography. No.
It was photographed by the Enquirer smoking crack and having gay sex with homeless dudes.
Oh. Well, I mean, the homeless guy stuff and the crack smoking is kind of not all the greatest. I don't care. I mean, it's a shame that like him being gay is a big deal, but
Well,
unless
he's not gay.
Oh,
How
he's
dare
not?
you? He has a wife.
Yeah, well, so do you.
Yeah, I'm gay. Love dick.
We all love Dick.
All right. So we got our
The
movies for
end.
next time.
Nightwing.
Nightwing. I can't wait.
That's
Play us
not
off.
the
Play us off, Mark.
do 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 wah 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 do 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 do. I don't really know the Tonight Show theme. Do 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 do. Ooh. Hey, where's the? That's it. It's done. This is over. Goodbye. Good day, sir.
Good day.
Oh, maybe we should do Crocodile Dundee.
I mean, I've seen it. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Ugh. Have you seen Crocodile Dundee too?
I don't think I have.
I don't remember anything. I couldn't say that I thought it was good. We gotta end this. End this nonsense.
End it.
Get off.